Hi everyone. Tonight I'm doing a training video. I guess it's not really a training video, it's more of a book review, but I hope that you can use the tools that she covers in the chapter that we're going to talk about tonight. This is Codependent No More by Melody Beattie, and the cover is different because there are several editions of this book because it's just that good. So tonight we're going to be talking about the concept of caretaking. And this is an unhealthy pattern that many of us develop either in our childhood or when we are first moms, because codependency is basically just when people try to take responsibility for other people's lives, or they try to make other people take responsibility for their life. And it's just this victim rescuer prosecutor cycle. It's like this big drama cycle where you rescue people, and then you get mad at them that you rescued them, and then you're the victim all of a sudden. And then someone rescues you, and then they get mad at you, and then they're the victim, and it's just this terrible thing. That's codependency. It usually happens with addictive relationships, but it can also be an inherited response in family situations. So tonight we're going to talk about the chapter. I couldn't recommend this book more highly, but tonight we're going to talk about the chapter about caretaking. And caretaking is when, especially as young moms, we do have to take responsibility for another person. Literally, like they cannot survive without us. And so we give and give and give and give and give, and some of us don't know when to stop giving. And this is when baby blues happens. This is when 4-year-old children can't get themselves a cup of water. We just start doing everything for them, and that's not our job. And so it's an unhealthy pattern. And so I just wanted to read a little bit from this. She uses a story from the scriptures that I'm sure we're all familiar with. Yeah, it just says caretaking doesn't help, it actually causes problems because we put ourselves aside and we wonder why, when we anticipate the needs of others, no one notices our needs or helps us. So we just get super mad at other people. And many of us don't understand the line between what we are responsible for and what we are not responsible for, especially in parenting relationships. And this is a really good part. The whole book is a really good part. But it says, at the heart of most rescues is a demon, low self-worth. We rescue because we don't feel good about ourselves, but in that moment, we feel lovable, so we settle for feeling needed. We don't feel good about ourselves, so we feel compelled to participate, to do a particular thing to prove how good we are. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Sometimes we rescue because it's easier than dealing with the discomfort and awkwardness of facing other people's unsolved problems. We have to say, isn't it too bad? Oh, it's too bad you're having that problem. What do you need from me? Okay, let me start over. We haven't learned to say, it's too bad you're having that problem. What do you need from me? And we've learned to say, here, let me do that for you. I am learning to not do this with my children because it is so much faster for me to just do it than for me to teach them how to do it and like mess everything up for the first 15 times that they do it. And so, yeah, it's a survival thing, or we feel like it's a survival thing to not waste that time. And then she talks about the actual responsibility is not caretaking. That's not what she's talking about. And then she goes into this really awesome thing that others have interpreted religious beliefs as a mandate to caretake. Be cheerful givers, we are told. Go the extra mile. Love our neighbor. And we try. We try so hard. We try way too hard. And then we wonder what's wrong with us because our Christian beliefs just aren't working. Our lives aren't working either. Well, Christian beliefs work just fine. Your life can work just fine. It's rescuing that doesn't work. She talks about the story of Mary and Martha. That's where I was going when I got distracted by all the other good, amazing things in this book. So she said, and she's applying the story specifically to caretaking. So there's so many interpretations of this story, but this is specifically for codependence. So most of us have heard the biblical story of Mary and Martha. While Mary sat and talked with Jesus and his friends, Martha cleaned and cooked. Before long, the story goes, Martha started banging pots and pans, accusing Mary of being lazy. Martha complained that she was having to do everything while Mary relaxed and enjoyed herself. Does this sound familiar? Jesus didn't let this one go by. He told Martha to hush. Mary knows what's important, he said. Mary made the right decision. His message might be that Mary made the right choice because it's more important to enjoy people than it is to cook and clean. But I also believe that there's a message here about taking responsibility for our choices. Doing what we want to be doing and realizing how we become angry when we don't. Maybe Mary's choice was right because she acted as she wanted to. Jesus helped many people, but he was honest and straightforward about it. He didn't persecute people after he had helped them, and he asked them what they wanted from him. And sometimes he asked why too, and he held people responsible for their behavior. I think caretaking perverts biblical messages about giving, loving, and helping. Nowhere in the Bible are we instructed to do something for someone and then scratch his or her eyes out. Nowhere are we told to walk that extra mile with someone and then grab the person's cane and beat him or her with it. Caring about people and giving are good, desirable qualities, something that we need to do. But many codependents have misinterpreted the suggestion to give until it hurts. We continue giving long after it hurts, usually until we're doubled over in pain. And it's good to give some away, but we don't have to give it all away. It's okay to keep some for ourselves. I believe God wants us to help people and share our time, talents, and money. But I also believe he wants us to give from a position of high self-esteem. I believe acts of kindness are not kind unless we feel good about ourselves, what we are doing, and the person we are doing it for. I think God is in each of us and speaks to each of us. If we absolutely can't feel good about something we're doing, then we shouldn't do it, no matter how charitable it seems. We also shouldn't do things for others that they ought to and are capable of doing for themselves. Other people aren't helpless, and neither are we. Giving to and doing things for and with people are essential parts of healthy living and healthy relationships, but learning when not to give, when not to give in, and when not to do things for and with people are also essential parts of living and healthy relationships. It is not good to take care of people who take advantage of us to avoid responsibility. It hurts them and it hurts us. There's a thin line between helping people and hurting people, between beneficial giving and destructive giving. When we can learn, we can learn to make that distinction. We can learn to recognize a rescue. We can refuse to rescue. We can refuse to let other people rescue us. We can take responsibility for ourselves and let others do the same. So I wanted to share this with you guys today tonight, because like I said, I just think so many of us in real times of need had to take responsibility for another person. And we had to put ourselves aside. Our bodies, literally, had to make space for another person to be able to come into the world. And because of our culture, because of our society, because of the time in we live, I don't know what it is, but we learned something wrong about that pattern. And we haven't learned, at least I am still learning, and I feel that some of you are still learning, that we haven't let go of that full responsibility for another person. And this leaks over into marriages, this leaks over into teenagers and parents even. Just that caretaking instead of caregiving and that there's an important distinction there. And so she has a homework assignment here, and I am hoping that each of you will do this. She says, when you find yourself rescuing, watch for the role and the mood shifts. So she's talking about like that pattern of rescuing someone and then feeling super angry that you helped them, like mad that they didn't acknowledge you or thank you or help you, and then you feel like a victim, like they took advantage of you even though you're the one who acted, like you're the one who did something. They are, all of a sudden, you're the victim and they did something wrong. So when you catch yourself feeling resentful or used, figure out how you rescued. So take your responsibility for the problem and say, okay, where was I overstepping my bounds? Or was I overstepping my bounds if you're feeling resentful? And then practice non-rescuing behaviors. Say no when you want to say no. Or you can say yes tomorrow. You can give them a real answer and say, no, I can't handle that right now, but tomorrow I may be able to. I've had to do that with people, and sometimes it's so hard, but it's a healthy boundary for me. And so I'm learning to do that. And do things that you want to do. Refuse to guess what people want or need. Instead, ask. Or insist that they directly ask you for what they want and need from you. So begin asking directly for what you want and what you need. This is an essential step, you guys. Saying what you want and what you need. Just say, when someone asks you a question, think about it and then give them a real answer. Novel, right? Refreshing. Refuse to assume other people's responsibilities. Let people fail. Can we do that? I know we can. When you initially stop taking care of people who you're used to having to take care of, they may become angry or frustrated. You've changed the system. You rocked the boat. It means more work for them, and they can't use you anymore. So explain to them what you're doing and allow them to be responsible for their own feelings. And they may even thank you for it later. They may even surprise you. And sometimes people we thought the least capable to take care of themselves can, when we stop taking care of them. So, like I said, if you like just that little part that I got to show you from this book, you would love the whole thing. At least I have. And there are countless tools in this book. And that's why I couldn't do a review of the whole thing, because my review of just like 5 steps from some of the books just take forever. So I just did 1 chapter, and every chapter is awesome. And so if you're to pray about it and think about it and see how you feel about getting this book and using the tools in it to help with your healing of your body and your soul, so that you can better love and serve the Lord. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.